Appreciate it. Thank you all for sticking it out till the end. We'll look to wrap it up with some exciting bits and pieces. But I appreciate that, as I'm sure you've heard from a lot of my colleagues who you may have seen speaking elsewhere today, that obviously both open source and open data are absolutely critical initiatives for us at Goldman Sachs. That's why we have over 350 engineers actively contributing to open source projects, and over 20 GS-developed internal solutions have been contributed back to the open source community. And one of those that's actually is quite relevant is actually one of those that actually had some great news recently is our Legend data modeling and analytics platform for secure data transformation. This is now natively available on GCP, and it provides analysts, engineers, managers with an effective and efficient way for getting access to the data that they need to do their day-to-day jobs, while maintaining the lineage and historic information that we need to satisfy all of those operational and regulatory requirements. And it's now available using the power of GCP's Big Lake and BigQuery engines. So it's highly worth checking it out, especially in the context of where we're going to go now. Because I actually kind of want to take a little sanity kind of test in the room here. Appreciate it's been a bit of a long day, so I kind of feel like you all need to have a little bit of a stretch out. So work with me here, okay? Can I get both of your hands all the way up? Come on, it's been a long day, stretch out. Let's have it, all those hands up in the air. Excellent, even you in the back, I can see you. Yeah. Okay, so keep one hand up in the air if you're at an organization that uses public cloud. Okay, so far, makes sense. Keep that hand in the air if you are at an organization that uses multiple public clouds. Okay, keep that hand in the air if you can tell me how much you contribute to your organization's public cloud bill. There's some honesty right there. Excellent. Oh, I like that. I'm going to have to come see you later, sir, because I want to see that trick. I mean, this is not an uncommon kind of situation, okay? And in some respects, you know, we all got excited in the transition to public cloud, or this wonderful flexible computing model, and then things got a little bit more complicated because we have to start paying the bill. And what used to suffice when we were on-prem as a simple invoice all of a sudden became, oh, I need a little bit more information because, oh, the servers are moving around and I'm changing things a lot more. And then, oh, actually, you know what? I need to understand a little bit more about what I'm being charged for here. So as part of what our cloud service providers did, they started giving us more and more and more data. And that has been a developing ecosystem, but it's been developing in isolation. So each provider got to decide their own specification, how they wanted to deliver the data, what it should look like, how much detail you should get, how we should charge you. And it's grown to the point now where these are now multiple terabyte files every month that we receive and we need to interrogate in order to just understand, oh, what did I spend for that application last month? This seems kind of crazy. And it only gets worse. I mean, I slightly empathize with some of you that are the single cloud users, because, hey, at least you get to learn the taxonomy and you get to learn the terminology of your provider, and that's great. You can become an expert in it. But then let's say, oh, this other provider has a really neat analytics service or a really neat, you know, whatever the service is. As soon as you want to start using them, then you have to become expert in an entirely different billing model, an entirely different parlance, an entirely different language. And so you're effectively back to square one. And it really shouldn't be like this. So about a year and a half ago, the FINOS Foundation practitioner community got together and said, what could we do about this? This can't be the way. Let's try and stop the madness. What would we do if we wanted to reimagine how this should work for what we need? So I need to be able to get billing data from all of these different public cloud providers, whether platform, infrastructure, SaaS providers, and I need a way to normalize it into one common cube that is going to be consistent, it's going to give me consistent answers, and that I can share with my end users, not just the finance folks and the FinOps folks trying to manage the infrastructure, but get that out to the application owners, get that out to the end engineers who are clicking the buttons, deploying the code, that are spending the money. And making sure that it makes it easy for them to answer the common use cases that we see around, what does this cost? Am I getting the right level of discounts? Am I using this resource in the right way? And while this started out as a little bit of a pipe dream, it actually kind of picked up a little bit of steam over time. So we had more and more practitioner organizations joining up. And I've picked a few logos on the left-hand side, but it's actually, I couldn't fit the other 50+ organizations that have been contributing to trying to solve this problem and defining this specification. And it's become actually quite noticeable, so much so that we've actually started to force the cloud providers to join us on this journey. They realize that us, as their customers, need a better way to solve this. And so I'm really excited to be able to share with you that 4 of the main CSPs all provide support for something called FOCUS. And FOCUS is the FinOps Open Cost and Usage Specification. It is the standardized billing format that allows you to, regardless of the provider you're using, understand what you're spending, what we're spending it on, how we're using it, who's paying the bill, and support. And it's been developed based on the common library of public cloud use cases that we've researched across our practitioner community. So it's been about 1.5 years worth of work, but FOCUS version 1 is now generally available. So you can get that now from any of your CSPs. And I kind of want to go and say, oh, you could stop using the CUR, you can stop using the native billing formats, because that is the goal here. We want to have our engineers, our application owners, and our practitioners spend less time doing data crunching and data normalization and more time on actually driving architectural improvements, driving business value. And so there are a number of benefits that come with this, not least the fact that I don't have to take 1, 2, 3, n many data sets, learn how to translate them, learn how to bring them together, and kind of keep track of all of the changes that happen in the cloud billing ecosystem, just in order to be able to tell my CIO or my CTO, oh, this is what we spent on public cloud last month. It also reduces the barrier to entry when we're bringing in folks from other organizations, because it gives us a common language to talk about, okay, this is what our commitment coverage is, this is what our list cost is, this is what our effective cost is. And it stops a lot of the mismatches that you can often see when you're moving from organization to organization or moving from cloud provider to cloud provider. And ultimately, what we're trying to do with this is increase the ease of use for the end consumer. And for me, as a FinOps practitioner, I think of my end consumer as the engineer, the person that is sat there writing the Terraform, pushing the buttons, creating the servers, creating the Lambdas, creating the cloud runs, etc. That is actually, every time they do that, they are costing our organization money. And I want to make it really easy for them to understand and interrogate the information to say, hey, I did this, this is what it cost. Now I know what that's worth, I know what that function is meant to do, and this is good value or this is bad value. And it's only by pushing that kind of decision making to the edge that we're able to truly empower engineers to effectively manage cost from the edges of the organization in. So, I'll wrap up quickly because I know it has been a long day, but what should you guys do with this? So, I would highly recommend that you check out focus.finops.org. The version 1 general availability spec is now live. It is available to you. And also, I would encourage you to check out our GitHub repository. This is an actively developed specification. We're already working on version 1.1, and we're trying to find the roadmap for version 1.2. So if you look at the specification and think, I really wish it answered that question. I really wish it did this. I really wish it had that field. Please get involved with our GitHub community and join us on improving our lives and improving the standards of public cloud billing data to make it one of those open data formats. And with that, thank you very much. Cheers.